Big reveal. Kazalgar is connected to Northrend and Silithus. I have heard about the Northrend connection before, which is kind of crazy because Kazalgar's location is actually off the coast of Pandaria, which is like opposite side of the world of Northrend. But somehow there is a connection there. Let's see if Doran knows exactly what this connection is all about.
So this is a really mind-blowing revelation that just completely went under the radar. Some people recently really examined the War Within logo of the cracking
Yes,
of Azeroth and realized that the crack spreads from Kazalgar to Silithus to Northrend. Now, immediately, you might think, I mean, this is some BS exaggerated artwork for the cinematic that they just thought looked cool, but it perfectly lines up with all the new info from the beta. We just learned that the Nerubian Kingdom in Kazakar has a tunnel all the way to Northrend, and also that the crystal in Kazakar changed exactly when Silithus was struck, very likely through this tunnel. Back then, as you may remember, Sargeras had poison in the blade, and we, like the geniuses we are, drained our artifacts.
Yeah, we used our
including
freaking
the
artifact weapons
called Zeladat right into the swoon because Magni told us to do so, and we just learned that this Radiant song giving all
Damn
these
it, Magni.
warnings might not even
Has
be the
Magni told us to do anything correct at this point? I mean, seriously, he is the Diamond King that's been made a pawn, right? I mean, we all understand that at this point. That guy's completely scuffed everything up for us.
World Soul at all. Even more interestingly, the cracked perfectly
And now he's
goes
just
to all
angry.
the world trees on Azeroth, and Kazalgar is the home to the mother one, Eluna. Here, the tunnels might be the routes that connect all of them in a giant underground network. Now, a Mirrorsil was just activated right where the Void Invasion is about to happen, which means we might have made a little mistake. I know all this might sound a little crazy, but let's just look into what these tunnels actually are. Actually playing WoW on your phone is possible with Awesome, this video sponsor. You can not only check in on your characters,
Nice.
but you can do things like pet battles and even fully play the game. Awesome allows you to control the computer through your phone completely free, available for Windows, iOS, and Android. It's super easy to use. Check out my link in the description, download the PC and the phone app, and just simply connect it. The free version is great, and you can control the desktop, transfer files and such, but the real deal is the game version with custom keyboards for various games other than just WoW, and you can enjoy AFK gaming at any time, anywhere with sound. Make sure to use my code ORON to get 7 days completely free only for the first 200 people. They also got a smart lock to turn off your PC at any time, as well as hot sales with up to 40% off on pro and game versions. Check out Awesome.
There it is. Check it out.
I know right off the bat this might really seem I'm making like a mountain out of a molehill, just analyzing random promotional material that could not really be related to anything. However,
Maybe.
this little hint is really just the cherry on top. I was actually planning to talk about this because we had gotten hints from the alpha and the beta that something big is going on underground and not just related to Kazakar. I found it incredibly interesting that the Nerubians had built a tunnel all the way from Kazakar
Yeah,
to
this is
Azul
crazy.
Nerub in Northrend, which is
And maybe the tunnel goes this way. I don't understand how you can tunnel through the ocean, but
literally the tunnel
Hey,
the
wow
size
magic.
of half the world. However, by this new information, it might not have been a built tunnel, but an underground
Sounds good,
connection
holy
they could
cow.
just repurpose. And when you really analyze it, it could be the key to the entire World Soul Saga and what is going to happen as far as the last Titan. So we got the War Within cinematic, obvious talk about the War Within, like actually inside the planet underground, and then the War Within inside the characters and their personal dilemmas. I mean, that's the
Right.
most obvious spot. And to connect it
Under the
all, we
sea.
got the cracking logo.
yeah, I get you could tunnel under the sea floor. It's still unrealistic to think that some yeah, I mean they're an ancient race. It may have been over thousands of years that they created this tunnel, but still, man, across the ocean floor, creating a tunnel from one side of the world to the other. I mean, geez. Elon Musk is tunneling.
Of the planet. I mean, not a big deal, right? Immediately, the connection to this was obvious.
That's
I mean,
how the world-
War Within
the
planet
internet-
is cracking.
yes, yes.
At midnight, it is cracked and void filled. In the
Well, those cables, aren't they just laid down? Like just massive, didn't they just kind of lay them down? Or did they tunnel them under the ocean floor? I don't think they tunneled them under the ocean floor. I thought they just laid them in there.
last Titan, we reveal what appears to be the Titan prison over Azeroth. Like, the story seems quite obvious. We're going to break the shell, get invaded by the Void, fight off the invasion, but as we do it, we're going to reveal what the Titans had hidden over the entire planet. This is the Azeroth prison mechanism. I've talked about this, it's an incredibly interesting theory, but it is a topic for another video. Now, I want to talk about the first phase, which is breaking the shell of the planet, and how there's so many interesting things to actually examine. So, the logo crack in the planet is based on Kalimdor, but interesting enough, Kalimdor is in the center of it, and we can see the western
Oh yeah, I've never even noticed that. That does kind of become clear that this is Kalimdor. when they're doing the logo.
And if we examine the cracks, you might realize they're going through a very familiar route. One route seems to connect the massive world trees from Angaro Crater to Mount Hyjal all the way to Northrend, that also get its own world tree. The crack on the left seems to be pointing to the other side of Azeroth that is almost certainly coming with the Light Emperor, and seeing that apparently green dragons can reach this place, it could be possible that it also has a world tree there as well. Now, interesting enough, we can see a crack in what appears to be Khazakar, and there is like a lateral crack that goes all the way from the sea to Northrend. Now, of course, you know, my first guess when I saw this was this is just completely random. I mean, they just wanted to show us that Azeroth is fighting within, so they just put random
random cracks.
However,
maybe.
Then the question was, why not show the entire planet of Azeroth? Why put the focus exactly on Kalimdor and Northrend, and even the western side of Kalimdor? The other question that everyone has had since the announcement, why is the Sword of Sargeras in Silitus the focal point of expansion and all the promotional material, the entire sword, when we are not even going to Silitus, instead we're in Khazakar, closer to
I wonder,
Pandaria,
has Kalimdor always been the focus of the logo? I never really paid attention to like what part of Azeroth they're showing. I don't even know if this is like a legitimate thing. Hold on, let me. I'm opening this. What part of Azeroth is this? This just looks janked as shit. This is just a regular world. This doesn't even show a realistic map of Azeroth. What the hell is this landmass? Oh, I never even paid attention to this. Interesting. Okay. So the old logos don't even have a real Azeroth on.
Finally have some answers. However, those are just speculations. We got two hard bits of evidence directly from the War Within Alpha and the Beta that actually gives quite a bit of substance to this matter. So, you remember the history of the War of the Nerubian and Anubrak. I'm not going to bore you, super long story short, but the Nerubians in Northrend gained their independence from the Old Gods, were a significant force in Northrend. Then the Lich King arrived, he enslaved everyone in Northrend, but he was getting whooped by the Nerubians because they were immune to the plague of undeath. Ultimately, they started getting overwhelmed with undead numbers and then dug out the servants of Yogg-Saron. So with this two-front war, they collapsed, fell to the Scourge, and Anubrak, the king of the Nerubians, ultimately became the servant of Arthas Menethil that you could play as in Warcraft 3. Well, Khazakar just gave us a whole new perspective on this. Anubrak on multiple occasions asked and even demanded the Khazakar Nerubian kingdom to help, but they denied him and left him to his doom. However, through this conversation, we learned that apparently there was a tunnel the Nerubians were supposed to send the reinforcements through. If you think about this, this is actually crazy. I mean, Khazakar is pretty much in line with Pandaria, while Northrend is on the other side of the planet, which means that this is a gigantic tunnel going all the way through the entire planet under the sea. Personally, I think it also goes through Kazan as well, which is why we're going to get a Goblin patch soon, but that is a topic for another video. Now, we never learned what these tunnels were, whether Nerubians dug them out. It is likely they used these tunnels when they had that massive thousands of years troll war in order to transport their troops so that the trolls can't find them. If a tunnel connects to the forces, there must also be one that connects Manti territory in Pandaria and also the one that connects the Kiraji in Silitus. However, here is another really interesting bit of evidence. The Light Crystal Beledar, that is the focal point of the expansion in Hellfall, apparently started turning into the Void the exact moment Sargeras had stabbed Azeroth with his sword. My guess, the speculation on this was that Sargeras was trying to spike the Titans to trigger the Void invasion so that they will have to
there's a lot of different theories
he aimed at
on why he aimed where he did and why he did what he did. I do kind of buy into the theory that he just kind of wanted to screw things over as he was leaving. I used to believe that, he was trying to maybe free Azeroth because the Titans currently have her imprisoned. And those rings that rotate around Azeroth, the prison that Azeroth is in, if you stop them from spinning, which we've seen with the old incarnates and stuff, that the prison explodes and it frees whatever's inside. I still think that might be true. And the crystal may have just been kind of like residual effect of him stabbing the planet and trying to free her. But either way, I don't think he was trying to do something good. I do want to get that straight. Because some people are like, he was trying to be a hero. No, he's not, no. So he's just as bad as his siblings. He just always has an ulterior, he's tried to do things differently and prove them wrong and all that shit. So I think he was trying to, again, kind of play the opposite end of them and try to screw them over. And either free Azeroth or bring about the Void.
Because he knew this wouldn't destroy the planet or the crystal, but do just enough so that it can echo and change the crystal. Now, bear with me for a second here,
maybe
because I
Tundra.
think this might be the explanation for all these tunnels. I don't think the tunnels are man-made or Nerubian-made. So, I know this is a popular speculation, but really, this is about as good as confirmed. It is like
Roots of the world tree.
99.99% confirmed that Kazalgar is the creator from the first ever World Tree
Yeah,
on Azeroth,
I knew he was gonna say
Elune
this.
Ahir. There is about a dozen bits of informations and dialogues that constantly add to this theory, and they're being added day by day. By this new Dragonflight book, we learned that Elune and Eonar had planted the first World Tree on Azeroth on the spot of the biggest old god corruption in order to cleanse Azeroth and to spark life, and ultimately Amatol got pissed and he ripped it out. This is not the point, you probably already know this lore. The point is that this was not just a regular World Tree, this was the World Tree. One of the speculations is that the crystal is the primordial crystal that originated all life on Azeroth, and that the tree was purposefully planted here. There is also evidence for the mural in the lowest layer of Kazalgar that a fifth old god existed here, very likely one that was defeated by the others, and this could have been the most corrupted place ever. The book stated that the tree was planted upon the most old god corruption. However, the first ever World Tree would really originate everything. It would connect the Emerald Dream to the material plane. It would connect Azeroth to Otherworld and the death cycle. It would spread nature everywhere and all the wild gods. While the tree was removed, it was said in the books that the roots had remained. Now, I know, this might sound crazy, so bear with me for a second, but what if these tunnels are literally the roots of Elune Ahir spreading all the way through Azeroth? It literally makes perfect sense with the cracks and why the planet would crack at these exact
basically a tunnel that had been bored by a World Tree root makes more sense than tunnels dug out by the Nerubians.
spots.
I could see that being possible.
Apart from the new one, a Mirdersil that was just planted, are on Kalimdor, Northrend, and the Broken Isles. Kalimdor has most, so the giant crack connects to one in Ngoro Crater, which is...
I mean, you literally have N'Zoth Whispers talking about deeper its roots will grow. Like, the roots are talked about by the old gods, by the Titans, everybody that talks about World Tree roots. So they surely are relevant. Now, are they the reason for the tunnels? Maybe.
World Tree Crater like Kazalgar. It also passed through Silitus. It connects Northrend and Mount Hyjal, and even Teldrassil. Then the crack goes heavily into Northrend, connecting Andrassil. Lastly, as I said, there was like this lateral crack in the logo going all the way through the sea, which must pass through the Broken Isles, connecting Shaladrassil. The idea is that all the world trees are connected to the tree, the original tree, the mother tree, and that the roots are all connected underground.
That makes sense.
It is entirely possible that the Void is now repurposing these roots and is spreading Void through them with the Emerald Nightmare, and how they could even manage to create the Emerald Nightmare, because we know the Emerald Nightmare was created through the world trees. Additionally, it was said that Kazalgar was akin to something like the heart of Azeroth, the heart of the world soul, so it is entirely possible that the mother roots are working as the heart, and all the spreading roots are literally the
roots
veins,
would be more like the
keeping
veins,
the nature
probably.
alive. However, here comes...
Which is more like ley lines. The Tauren have always described the ley lines of the world like veins. We just read that not too long ago about those new earthen, that they describe them as like the veins of Azeroth. So maybe these roots kind of act that way
That was
too.
the most mind-blowing part. A Mirdersil might have been a mistake, and this is what is going to ultimately cause a Void invasion in
I'm sure it was a
Remember,
mistake.
a Mirdersil is literally right next door to the Sunwell, where it is confirmed the Void invasion will happen. If Xal'atath is using these original roots as conduits, well, guess where they're going to channel the Void corruption once it happens? The only really active World Tree on Azeroth. This might also explain why they decided to add the Night Elven capital and the World Tree to here out of all the places. It would definitely make sense that all the nature of Azeroth is connected through a gigantic root network that we never knew about, and now it would make sense why these certain trees could only be planted here as they're being added to the main network. I think Xal'atath is definitely aware how potent this is. Now, of course, it could be possible that the tunnel themselves are not tied to the roots, but instead they're really dug out by the Titan minions. I mean, as you know, Earthen are experts at digging underground. The place where the cracks are happening are also places where we got giant Titan facilities, from Oldham to Ngoro Crater to Northrend. There is even
and Chris Messon did confirm that we're going to find out why all these Titan facilities are slapped into the side of our planet, as he said in BlizzCon. So those are certainly going to become relevant again.
Titan facility on the Dragon Isles as well, which is where Mirdersil is. Now, the logo of Midnight shows the planet completely cracked and filled with the Void, so this might be implied that this will be the first time we ever actually eventually get defeated, and that this hidden system might get destroyed, and then we're really in for something akin to like a new shattering event, like a void shattering event on Azeroth. If the tunnels exist connecting Kazalgar to Silitus, it might also explain what is going on with the Sword of Sargeras. Maybe it wasn't the impact of the sword that caused the crystal to change to the void. Remember, Sargeras had some type of a poison in the sword that was killing the world soul, potentially through these tunnels. Do you remember what we did? We sent the artifacts into this hole. We like threw them here to help
This made me
heal
sad.
Azeroth. And all this because
That's the most powerful we ever were, and we just burned away our artifact weapons. Nice plan by the Legion, by the Void, if that was their plan. Hey, all these denizens of Azeroth, they're pretty strong, actually. Maybe we should get rid of their best weapons. Yeah, maybe we should destroy all of the best weapons they've ever created, so when we do show up, they have to fight us with something else.
Magni got the Radiant Song.
Pretty good plan.
Warning from Azeroth. Do you remember one really interesting artifact weapon called Zealotat that we drained? Literally inside here, that had an interest in switching the crystal to the void. Recent information shows us that this Radiant Song calling for help might literally just be Zealotat manipulating us with her weapon called Void Song, and we might have inadvertently turned this crystal and helped her plan. Thank you for watching. Check out how we're actually going to lose in the war within for the first time ever by clicking on the screen, and check out my video on Roman mythology and the cult of Mithras by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.
Oh yeah, so interesting stuff. Those tunnels and everything, I'm sure, are going to become relevant, whether or not the Nerubians themselves dug them or their old tree roots, world tree roots. I guess we'll find out. But the tunnels themselves and the cracks in the logo, maybe a bit speculative. But it would be pretty cool if Blizzard actually did intend to put those cracks where they did in the logo. Pretty cool stuff.